Alright, part 2. And just this much of a page left. So, Arthur dying. Still not over it. I knew that was going to happen because I knew that there was only supposed to be 5 seasons, and I knew that what was coming. Okay, I knew it was coming. I knew what was going to happen, and he was going to die, and I was going to cry. I knew it. But then Merlin saying, but him dying, and the fact that the last thing he says to Merlin, or one of the last things he says is, hold me, and thank you. Okay, first of all, hold me, throw back to Tristan Isolde, or however you say her name. Okay, everybody's like, oh my god, they're so in love, it's so true love, or, that to be her last words, just hold me, and Merlin and Arthur, just hold me, okay? I'm sorry. You can ship what you want, but my Merthyr ship ships itself, okay? It sails it proudly, alright? And once again, I will reiterate, I love Gwen, okay? I do. I love Gwen, alright? She's badass. She gets shit done. And then Merlin saying he failed to the dragon after Arthur dies. It caused me to have a flashback to, like, season 1, I think it is, with Mordred, when you're first introduced to Mordred. And the dragon says, as long as he is alive, if you don't let this boy be killed, you cannot fulfill your destiny. Which I have 2 things about that. Because the dragon is a manipulative cunt. Okay, that is what he is. He is an also manipulative cunt, but he's a manipulative cunt. First point is that if Merlin had let Mordred die as a child, I think that would have messed with him so much. The fact that he had let this innocent die for what he might do would have caused damage that couldn't be repaired to Merlin, and therefore kind of altering or changing or making sure that destiny never came to pass. Because at that point in time, which I think is a great contrast to where Merlin ends up in season 5 when Mordred is reintroduced, is the fact that Merlin cannot trust, I don't want to say this, is unable to not trust this, for right now, innocent little boy. You know, he's innocent. You can't discriminate or prosecute somebody on what they might do. And that's where Merlin's at right then. That's where he's at, mentally. And I think that's a really big change compared to how he is in season 5 with Mordred, when he's like, you seem to be a good guy right now, but experience has taught me that people lie, and people can be good liars and good fakers, and I'm just waiting for the tide to change because you're going to go bad and I know it. And, it's kind of heartbreaking in a way because he's just waiting for it. And it reminds me of when Gaia said what happened to the young boy that walked into my chambers so many years ago. And Merlin just looks back at him with cold eyes and he's like, he grew up and learned the meaning of duty. Because he's grown up in the worst possible way, having to completely hide himself and who he really is from the people he cares about the most, and the people who do find out who he is, he either has to kill them or they end up dying trying to save him. And it irritates me. But then also point number 2 with that is that after he says I failed, the dragon says no, you didn't. It would always have to end this way because he's the once and future king. And to be the once and future king, you kind of have to die. And, I think in a way, I think really what Kilgar was getting at is that in the end, it was going to end the same way. Arthur was going to die no matter what. Arthur was going to die. How that was going to happen was completely really interchangeable depending on whether Merlin killed the boy or not. And Morgana was always going to be involved. But I, I think the dragon really, I don't know, because when he says he failed, the dragon's like, no, you didn't. I promise you didn't. Take heart, because one day you'll see him again, and you'll meet him again, and it'll be Merlin and Arthur all over again. And in a way, I think he's trying to comfort a friend, but also I think in a way, it was going between a self-fulfilling prophecy and destiny already, because you do kind of have those two themes going on, that really their stories of self-fulfilling prophecy, and then at the same time it's destiny, and the past's already laid out, and it's kind of what happens when those two things converge. Could you have done things differently? Could Merlin have done things differently? Yes. Could Arthur? Yes. But that's a moot point, because they did things how they did things, and it ended up the way it did. I don't know if I made a point in there. I think I did. I wanted to make a point. Tell me if I made a point or not. Merlin, at the end of season 5, the last episode, when Merlin, is an old man, and you see him walking, his look when he's like walking past the Lake of Babylon, and he just stops. And A+ Colin Morgan's acting, because that guy, you could see it in his face. He just went, like you could see him steel himself and try to gather up the courage to look over at the lake to see if anything, in the hopeful chance that Arthur was coming back or something was different. And when he saw that nothing was, he just turned around and like crumpled into himself with like disappointment and almost like a self-hatred in a way, because almost like he knew there wasn't going to be anything different. And he still had to look anyway. He still had to check. He still had to make sure. And I think that's heartbreaking, because the idea that maybe, and maybe his friend would come back. Maybe the guy that he loved, whether you want to call it romantic or platonic, whatever, I don't think anybody can deny the fact that they loved each other. I think we could argue all day what kind of love it was, but you can't deny the fact that they loved each other. And when he didn't, it brought to mind the saying that he tells Arthur, I will be happy to be your servant until the day I die. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, that over 1,000 years passes from that last scene in Camelot to the last scene of the actual show. Roughly 1,000+ years pass, and it just made me think, he probably still sees himself, in a way, as the servant to Arthur. Because he said, until the day I die, and Merlin can't die. He's immortal. And so it just made me think, I wonder, would he have said that if he had known just how long that was going to be? Because whether you believe in the fact that the once and future king will only return once to help out, or every time Albion needs him, Merlin's always going to have to wait. At least in this version, Merlin's always going to have to wait. And alone and by himself. And that's really depressing. And, I sometimes wonder if he would have said it the same way if he had known how that was going to play out. If he had known he was immortal and wasn't going to die and that he was going to have to wait. It just makes me wonder. Now, since I've got time left over, yay, I will tell you some of the songs that remind me of Merlin and give me the Merlin feels. If any of you are interested, you might have already heard them already. But they are Silhouette by Owl City, Soldier On by The Temper Trap, A Dance Around the Memory Tree by Oren Lavi. Am I saying that right? I don't know. The Call by Regina Spektor, The Dust Bowl Dance by Mumford & Sons, and A Hero Comes Home. I don't know who, Idina, it's Idina something. I forget the last name. And also I Still Cry by Oh God, who is it? Lise Delange. I don't know how you say her name. I think it's ILSE. ILSE. I think is what it is. But I'm not sure. And then Demons by Imagine Dragons. It's an awesome song. And I know that this song is technically Twilight, but 1,000 Years, okay? 1,000 Years by Christina Perri goes with two of my fandoms, Merlin and Doctor Who, okay? 1,000 Years, alright? I didn't even know that was a Twilight song until I, like, downloaded the song, and then it showed up with, like, the Twilight soundtrack picture, and I was like, ew, God, no, I didn't do that. But it gives me fandom feels. And then Heather Dale has a song called Mordred's Lullaby, and it's more for the traditional Arthurian legends as to how Mordred came about. Incest. Anyway, but it's really good and I love it, and it's really creepy because it's like a lullaby. It's supposed to be like Morgana singing it to him as like a lullaby, and it is creepy as hell. But oh God, what other song reminds me of that? Because I know I have more. My playlist is letting me down. But no, A Dance on the Memory Tree is technically from the Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah. Movies, and it's a very soft, like the actual song is very soft. So if you want to go check out the lyrics first and then hear it, it helps. And Soldier On and Silhouette is much more Merlin oriented as a person after Arthur, as is A Dance Around the Memory Tree. The Call is much more Arthur, and Merlin too, but the idea of Arthur that he'll come back. And then Demons, to me, is really for, like, it just, to me, encompasses Merlin, but mainly magic users in Camelot, and people who are magic users and still do really bad things, but also demons in the sense of emotional, personal demons, and kind of the sins of the parents type thing. And so yeah, I love that. But I think that is it. I think that's all I got right now, because I can't think of any more, and it saddens me. But I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please comment below. I would appreciate it. And if you didn't like it, tell me why, please. I am all for people telling me why. I can't get better. I can't change things if you don't tell me. But yeah, let me know. Thanks. Bye.